This is Irish Cmos, Chondrus Crispus species, not to be confused with Gracilaria, which most people think is Irish Cmos. You will notice that there is no salt on this Cmos. This Cmos will have a lot of sea debris like rocks, shells, etc. In my opinion, rinsing this kind of Cmos is optional. One reason is because unlike Gracilaria, Irish Cmos absorbs water and rehydrates itself very quickly. I will show you the main reason for skipping rinsing during step 3. Step 2, you will soak your Cmos in spring water, no tap water. You will soak it for about 4 to 8 hours. I generally soak it overnight, but I have found just a few hours is just fine. Because it absorbs so much water, you may have to check on it every few hours and add a little bit more, just so that the Cmos is entirely submerged during the whole time it's soaking. Here you can see Gracilaria and Chondrus Crispus, two different species of Cmos that we sell on RadarPlusNutrition.com. There is a slightly different process for the Gracilaria. You can find that video link up top, in the description, and at the end of the video, so check that out next. This is the next afternoon, and you can see how they both look once they're fully rehydrated. Step 3. Irish Cmos requires a lot of attention when rinsing. You will find a lot, and I mean a lot, of these little and even big shells trapped into the crevices of the Irish Cmos. You have to take the time to get out as many of these shells as you can, and it can be annoying. Step 4, it's time to blend your Cmos and make gel. Simply put it into a blender, add bottled water or filtered water, and blend it until smooth. Then you pour it into a mason jar or a container. It's that simple. Now you have fresh Irish Cmos gel. Quick tips: because Irish Cmos is not as dense as Gracilaria and it seems to hold more water, you do not have to add a lot of water when blending. I would start with a little bit of water and then add as needed to make sure you don't water it down to the point where it doesn't thicken up and you don't get any gel. I've done it more than once myself, and I've had to add more Irish Cmos, and it just becomes a pain. With Gracilaria, you can be more generous with the water, but with the Chondrus Crispus, you want to start off on the conservative side. I also noticed that Chondrus Crispus takes a little bit longer to blend than the Gracilaria. It's not a big deal, but it's just something to be aware of if you're used to blending Gracilaria. We sell our Cmos in 4-ounce sizes. 4 ounces of raw Cmos usually makes me about 5 to 6 jars of gel. I've used less than 4 ounces in this video because it's just for demonstrational purposes. So when you order your Cmos from RadarPlusNutrition.com, you will receive more Cmos than what you see in this video. You can make a small amount based on what you need at the time and save the rest of the dry Cmos. If you do make it all at once, the gel will last you refrigerated for about 3 weeks. You can freeze the gel if you want to preserve it. Just don't overfill your mason jar because it will crack. Serving size for the Irish Cmos gel is 2 tablespoons a day. You can take it raw by spoon. You can add it to coffee, teas, soups, smoothies. It's very, very versatile. One last thing, you will have to experiment with the gel consistency to find what best works for you. Generally, Cmos gel is thick. I personally like it as an applesauce consistency, so I tend to water mine down a little bit more. You can always add more water and reblend it, whether you're doing it in the beginning when you're first blending it or after it's been refrigerated and the gel has already set. You just have to find out what works for you.